All right. Let's I'm gonna react to some videos of losing weight because it can become a challenge for some people, and it's pretty controversial on how to lose weight and what actually works. So let's dive into it.
Everyone knows at least one girl who can eat like 2 double cheeseburgers for lunch and still looks like a supermodel without even working out. I always wondered, how are they doing that? What secret habits do they have we don't know about? I know what you're thinking. Girl, it's just her genetics. She probably has a fast metabolism. And you're right, she probably has. But what if I told you that there are 6 simple ways you could trick your own metabolism into acting just like hers?
So metabolism is a funny thing. A lot of people say metabolism and genetics are the reason for people being skinny and for people even being muscular, but that's not always the case. There's this cool thing called metabolic adaptation, which I hope she would dive into here, in which your body adjusts to your lifestyle. So if you are pretty active and healthy, your body will happen to allow more calories because you are expending more calories. But then your body adapts to that type of things. So in terms of your metabolism, yes and no. Some people are born with certain genetics and metabolism. But a lot of it is, I doubt this girl's eating a lot. If she's eating a huge cheeseburger, I doubt she's eating anything else in the rest of the day. So I doubt she's eating like 4 of those meals a day.
I made it my mission to find out how people like her can eat anything they want and still lose weight. Now, did all of the things I found bring results? Absolutely not.
All right, I'm just going to stop it right there because, I mean, you can't eat anything you want and lose weight. That's just the true fact of it. You have to be in a caloric deficit. And so that's just hands down, like literally impossible to get around, regardless of your genetics or metabolism or health conditions, is you have to be in a caloric deficit. So you have to be eating less than you are burning. That's literally everything there is to it. So that's why I'm saying if she's eating for 4 of those burgers every day, that's impossible. She's not doing that. She's eating maybe 1 burger a day, and people look at her during that meal and be like, "Oh my gosh, how do you even eat that?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just built different." No, that's the only meal you had that day. So.
But that's why I'm here, so you don't waste your time and just get straight to what actually works. But first, let's talk a little bit about the science behind all this so you can actually understand what your body is doing. Your body burns calories in 2 ways, through physical activity and your metabolism. Your metabolism burns more than 60% of your calories, while physical activity only accounts for about 30%.
So that's kind of an oversimplification. Your body burns calorie in really 4 ways. The biggest ways are your bodily functions and your exercise, but there's also other ways your body burns through the food you eat and also through the chores you eat. And so to say your body burns through your metabolism and your there's not 2 ways. There's 4 ways in which your body burns, and so I think she's oversimplifying it there.
So naturally, people with fast metabolisms race through their calories much faster than others who can eat whatever they want and still look like Gigi Hadid. Everyone is naturally born with different metabolic rates, but there are a ton of ways to boost your metabolism without dieting or working out. But first, I want to bring up something.
Your metabolism is basically what you eat and how you move. That's pretty much how your metabolism is made up of, and your body adjusts to that. So I disagree with that. I'm seeing this video as really clickbaity.
Even more important, I discovered during my research. I was in utter shock when I found out that people were completely replacing water with stuff like soda in their diets. Your body actually only responds to 1 liquid only, and that's water. You've probably been wondering why all the hot girls constantly carry their water bottles with them. Well, drinking water is about way more than just the aesthetics. Drinking about half a liter of cold water increases your metabolism by almost 30% for
All right, so I mean, this is good. Water is great. You should absolutely drink water. It also can be satiating for you. If I like to, when I'm trying to lose weight, I'll eat food and try to drink a lot of water almost to expand that food, especially those carbohydrates. But in terms of soda, if you are a person that drinks a lot of non-diet sodas, regular sodas, and you want to start dieting, diet sodas are a perfectly good step to take, and I would absolutely recommend that. So don't completely disclude those diet sodas. I would say those are absolutely a fine step. And another reason is those diet sodas can also give you some satiation feeling. If you're hungry but you don't want to eat those calories, a diet soda can work in that case. So I wouldn't say diet sodas are completely bad, but water 100% is really good.
For 30 to 40 minutes because your body has to work harder to regulate its temperature. This helps you burn calories much quicker. Also, most of the time, thirst or dehydration can be mistaken for hunger. Drinking water occasionally helps you feel way less hungry and is great for appetite control. Ironically, water also helps reduce bloating. Bloating happens when your body holds on to excess liquid. This is called fluid retention. Staying hydrated helps your body release those fluids more easily because your body has no need to retain it anymore. I know we all love our sweet little drinks, but you wouldn't believe how many calories these bad boys are packing. One can of Coke has well over 150 calories, and this is a standard for most canned drinks. So what you need in that tumbler is water, not soda. But as great as water is, she can't do the work all by herself.
So just ending with water here, I mean, it is a great tip to take. In terms of like the main steps you take for dieting, I wouldn't say it's like the main step. I would say definitely stay hydrated 100%. I would recommend bringing water everywhere you go and constantly sipping on that water. Drink as much as you can. But obviously, I said a few things in which diet soda would be acceptable. I'll drink diet soda maybe to treat myself or maybe for one of those reasons I stated earlier. So stay hydrated, but I wouldn't say it's one of the major steps for weight loss.
In the end, if you're eating more food than your metabolism can burn, then you're still going to gain a ton of weight. Sadly, that's...
It's not your metabolism burning that, it's your body. Don't mistake your metabolism for your bodily functions. The metabolism is how your body burns, but it doesn't exclude your body burning. So this is literally what you're eating versus how much you're moving. That's literally how it works, and that's the simple math equations. I'm saying it's simple, but it's complex. So the idea is simple, the execution is complex in a lot of different areas. So I'm not saying dieting is super easy, but at the same time, it's like she's saying metabolism like the metabolism is the number one thing, and it's not. It's how you move. The metabolism is how your body adjusts to your movement and your eating habits.
It's how it works. But the catch is that you don't have to change anything about your diet to consume fewer calories. Nailing portion control lets you eat whatever you want and still be skinny. I know people always make portion control seem like you have to start eating like a mouse, but there are lots of practical ways to go about it and still eat until you're full. Let me introduce you to the piece.
I would say portion control is a technique that can be useful for some people, but if you're eating fried chicken, French fries, cake, and that's your meal, the portion you're going to have to eat to actually lose weight is going to be so tiny that you're going to want to just not be alive anymore. So I would say replace your foods. In terms of dieting, don't think of it as less food. Think of it as instead of eating processed food, you're eating more whole foods. That'll make you feel more satiated. That will give you more energy. That will give you more nutrients, so you'll feel better and you'll perform better. So don't think of it as sizes. Think of it as the quality of foods.
CF rule. It goes,
oh my gosh.
More protein, less carbs, the least fats. But it's not about switching to a high protein diet. You just have to apply this rule
Wait.
But it's not more protein, less carbs, the least fats.
Ron. Yes, More protein. Protein tends to be the most satiating foods. It also is the food that burns the most being digested through your body, and so it kind of is a double whammy in terms of weight loss. Fats are great for you. In terms of men and testosterone levels, having low fats is one of the biggest contributors to low testosterone levels in men. We are meant to have healthy fats. So don't think of it as more protein, less carbs, the least fats. Think of it as more healthy proteins, more healthy carbs, more healthy fats. Don't think of it as exclusionary diets. I think of inclusionary diets. So what are the good proteins? I want my chickens. I want my steaks. What are the good carbs? I want my vegetables. I want my fruits. I want my berries. What are my good fats? I want my nuts. I want my seeds. And so include those, disclude the processed stuff. That's the best way to do it. Don't think of it this way.
But it's not about switching to a high-protein diet. You just have to apply this rule to the food you already like. Proteins contain way less calories and help you feel full faster. So when you're eating, try to get more protein, less carbs, and the smallest amount of fatty food. P, then C, then F.
No.
For your Chipotle order, you could add less rice and more beans. For your fast food, get more wings and less fries. Or even give flat dough pizza a try. This simple
her formula can work if you're eating crap and you're applying it to the crap foods, because obviously, you don't want those French fries, or you don't want essentially those simple carb. So proteins are harder to get really fried up and gross. I mean, obviously fried chicken, but her rule applies if you're eating like trash, which I highly don't recommend for losing weight, because you're going to be miserable and it's just not going to be fun. Allow for simple cheats every once in a while for sustainability over time, but don't do this.
Formula helps you eat anything you want and still consume less calories. Here's a simple guide to help you know what class of food most meals fall under.
All right, I got to look at this. So the chicken can be good. The steak can be good. Don't do the fried chicken. Eggs are good. Nuts are good for you, but high in calories, so be careful with those. Shrimp's all right. All those carbs are simple carbs, except for the corn. I don't know. Are those whole wheat? I don't think those are whole wheat crackers. Do whole wheat. And where's the vegetables? It's like, this is one of the biggest problems with the food pyramid, and what people think of carbs is they think of the bad carbs, but there are a lot of good carbs out there. There's, like I said earlier, I mean, you got your whole grains, you got your vegetables, your fruits, your berries. Those are what you should be eating. Don't think about these things. This is why she created this thing she created, is because she's looking at all these crap foods and these fats. Like, she's thinking of these cookies. Olive oil is a great healthy fat, and that's what I highly recommend. And chocolate is a carb. That's not a fat. So she doesn't know what she's talking about.
You can also eat smaller amounts of heavy foods like desserts, chips, fast food, and other calorie-dense meals. Get a small slice of cake for dessert. Keep fast food orders to once a week, or maybe eat half rather than a full bag of chips in one sitting. Here are some calorie-dense foods so you can get a feeling for it. When your diet consists of healthy, homemade meals more than unhealthy, greasy food, you'll automatically consume fewer calories without the pressure of a tedious diet.
True.
But relax, you don't have to follow a strict or unrealistic calorie limit. Keeping your intake anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000 calories works just fine for maintaining a healthy figure.
Depends on the person. I would say an average male is 2,000 calories. Or maybe more towards 3,000. But where am I going with this? I don't know. There's a lot wrong with this. You definitely want to not be eating trash. You want to be eating more healthier foods. That's going to make you feel better. That's going to make it easier to diet. Just in general. I mean, in general in life, not even just dieting, but eat more healthier foods, please.
I know portion control may seem difficult because it's kind of hard to eat less, but I found a simple trick that helps to consume way less food without even trying. There is absolutely no reason to race through your meals. It's actually bad for you. It just ends up making you bloated and can mess with your stomach and the signals it sends to your brain when you're full, which ends up making you eat much more than you normally would have. By eating slower, you kind of trick your brain into thinking you're full before you can even overeat.
So she keeps saying things about bloating and like these scary words when really I don't think things play as much as she says they are into this stuff. I wouldn't even think of bloating when it comes to eating food fast. I mean, obviously you want to chew your food and take time with your food. It can help in terms of satiation, but more so in terms of digestion and absorption. That's where that plays a big role in. But bloating, she's saying triggering words and putting triggering titles just to get people to click and pay attention, I feel like.
It takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to send the "I'm full" signal. So if you rush, you'll probably eat a lot more than you need. And because eating slower helps improve digestion, it indirectly boosts your metabolism too. And to be honest, food tastes way better when you're not eating at about 100 scoops per minute. You can implement little practices like putting your fork down between bites or putting your phone away while you eat so you can take your time with your meal. Little habits like this might...
I mean, this tip can be useful. I mean, don't get me wrong, try it out. Try out all the tips not all the tips you see online, but a lot of different tips you could try and see like, oh, does this work for me? Because everyone else is different in terms of how their body responds and reacts. And so this might work for some people.
It seem insignificant, but they add up and end up making a huge difference.
But she's showing
Eating
people eat like
slower
this. She's showing people eat this just crap food. Like this is how you should be dieting, and no, this is not how you should be dieting. You should be dieting with good food, and then maybe take your time with the good food.
You feel full with less food. But what about the time between meals? If you're constantly snacking or eating out of boredom, your body never gets a break to fully digest and reset, and you're going to start gaining weight again pretty quickly. Keeping gaps between your meals gives your body time to break down the food you've already had. Your body uses
I love seeing
hormones for all
stomachs
kinds of
100
things,
times in a
including
video.
hunger and feeling full. Ghrelin is the hormone that makes you hungry, and leptin tells you when you're full. They work like a team. When one goes up, the other goes down. But when you're constantly eating, even when you're not really hungry, it kind of messes with how your body releases these signals. Ghrelin stops rising.
I would say more so what's messing with your bodily signals in terms of satiation is the food you eat. If you eat crappy food, that's not how our bodies have evolutionarily adapted to them, then your body's not going to know how to process that food or when you're full or when you've got enough nutrients. That's what messes with your brain. She's bringing these hormones into it, and she's saying you could eat whatever you want, and she has the whole thing mixed up.
Properly so you don't feel real hunger, and leptin gets ignored, making it harder to know when you're full. That's why leaving gaps between meals helps you take back control over your hunger. If sticking to those gaps sounds tough to you, start by cutting off all meals by 8 to 10 p.m. This is a great way to do an intermittent fast without even noticing, because you instantly get a 12-hour intermittent fasting window between 9 p.m. and breakfast the next morning.
Intermittent fasting works for some people, not for others. Something you could definitely try. I've tried it, doesn't work for me, but some people, I know it works for them. So try it, see if it works for you. I personally do not like it.
I know those midnight snacks can be tempting, but if you truly want to maintain a healthy weight without a strict diet, you need to put the Cheetos down late at night and get some sleep. While you're having sweet dreams, your body's...
Don't have Cheetos in your house. That's the number one thing I could tell you. Don't have those snacks that you're going to overeat on in your house, because I promise you, if they're in your house, you're going to eat them and you're going to overeat them. So the tip I give you is get the crap out of your house that's going to make you go over your calories. I would say when you go out with friends or family to maybe a fast food, maybe once a week, then you can maybe have a little dessert or a little cheat. But if it's in your house, you're going to eat it and you're going to go over your calories.
Doing a lot of work to keep you alive. That's why you burn about 40 to 80 calories per hour while sleeping. Poor sleep heightens ghrelin levels, the hunger hormone we talked about earlier, making you feel hungry all day long.
I do enjoy that she mentions sleep and hydration in here. Those are two concepts of my 4-concept physical health model. And so those are very two important parts of not only dieting, but muscle growth or anything in terms of health related. Is you want good hydration, you want good sleep. They're going to help you get to your goals in terms of health. So I do like that she's hitting that.
Sleeping badly also makes your brain extremely tired, which makes you crave sugary and high-calorie meals even more because your body is in need of way more energy than usual. Try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and if you can, try to sneak in a nap during the day. But as simple as it sounds, maintaining your body weight is not just about taking a nap. Working out may be a great way to build your dream body, but definitely not the only way to keep a healthy weight. For all my lazy girls,
exercise is very important in terms of weight loss and maintaining a good healthy weight. I would say, like my 4-concept physical health model: exercise, nutrition, sleep, and hydration. If you optimize every one of those, you will have great health. So don't exclude exercise. Don't exclude good nutrition. Don't eat whatever you want. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're getting good sleep. So don't exclude. In terms of exercising in general, I recommend resistance training and cardio to start off with. Those are 2 basic areas, and saying like, I'm going to walk a little bit today and I'm going to lift these 5-pound dumbbell for a little bit today. That's great. So that's where I would start off with.
Here's a list of fun cardio options that actually don't feel like work. But I know sometimes we're too lazy for even that, which is why I'm not going to gatekeep this super simple hack I found during my research. Sucking in your belly. We often do it subconsciously, but did you know that it really tenses up your abdominal muscles? You're kind of activating these muscles, keeping them engaged even when you're just...
This is the worst tip I have seen in this whole video. Sucking in your stomach? What? You know how many times you would have to suck in your stomach in and out to actually burn calories or activate your abdominal muscles? Get down on the ground and do crunches. What are you doing? Sucking in your stomach? What is this tip?
Standing or sitting. It's a super simple way to keep your core active while doing full-on exercises. Do you want to take it a step further and build that 8-figure body of your dreams? Check out this video on how to build that perfect, slim, thick body.
She's clickbaiting you. Okay, there's some tips. I don't know. Try it out. I would say all of this applies to just potentially applies if you just eat trash, but I guarantee you if you're eating trash, you're not going to make sustainable fat loss. This is clickbait. This is meant for you to like, oh, I could still eat my 2 packs of Oreos a day and still lose weight. Oh yeah, everything she says lines up with that. No. Gosh, I didn't like that video. She misses a lot of important points when it comes to weight loss, I think. All right, I'm gonna take off my jacket. I'm getting hot and bothered in here because this freaking eat whatever you want, lose weight, my butt. Let's watch this guy. This is 5 weight loss recipes that defy the laws of losing weight, and this is how I lost 50 pounds. Let's listen to him.
So last week we talked about the 10 hacks that helped me to lose 50 pounds and keep it off for over a decade. But today I want to talk to you.
For those who don't know, it says he's a registered dietitian. Those people have to go to school for quite a bit to actually get registered to give you specific meals to eat. They can talk to you about ingredients and specific quantities. They're trained to do that. Different than a nutritionist. A nutritionist is a broad term that encompasses a lot of different people from various levels of different training in nutrition. So he should know a lot of what he's talking about in terms of nutrition.
About some specific recipes that helped me to lose the 50 pounds and keep it off. These recipes kind of defy the common thoughts on weight loss, some of the laws that people make up that people get really serious about, you know, like high protein, low carb, count your calories, restrict your calories, don't eat fruit, don't eat beans. Like, these are all
Those are all crazy myths, or I wouldn't say myths, but common phrases in terms of dieting and stuff. And so let's see what he says about them.
things that people come up with when they're trying to lose weight. And as I said with the hacks, the thing that is important is that you eat in a way that you're going to continue eating for the rest of your life. So let's jump right.
Sustainability is number one. So that's why I say, in terms of eat whatever you want and lose weight, that's not sustainable. Eat mostly healthy and have a cheat every once in a while. That's sustainable. Eat 100% healthy all the time, no sugar, nothing. That's not sustainable. And so he makes a very good point that your goal is to create a sustainable habit. People want to lose that fat instantly. They want that instant fix. No, health is a lifestyle, not a quick fix.
Right into these 5 recipes. So number 1 is a Greek salad. I still eat Greek salads quite a bit, and back then when I was trying to lose weight, I would eat them 2 to 3 times a week. And
that looks freaking amazing. I love it. A lot of different colors going in there, a lot of different good carbohydrates. I'd like to see if there's proteins in there, but I love it.
And back then, I remember watching a serious news show that was talking about health, and they were comparing a Big Mac to a Greek salad, and they were saying, well, a Greek salad has more calories and fat than a Big Mac. And they were trying to point that out in a way that almost made the Big Mac seem okay to eat. There's so many problems with this. First of all,
I like where this is going. He's dialing in a lot of the misconceptions about nutrition. I think I'm going to agree a lot with him. Like it talking about, oh, look, it has more carbs and fats, because those two words scare people in health. But good carbs and good fats are awesome for you and should be your 2 most consumed foods almost. So let's see what he says.
if you eat a Big Mac, you're not going to only eat the Big Mac. You're going to get a meal, and you're going to get a supersized fry and probably a supersized soda, and now you've doubled the amount of calories. But the other thing is you're getting sugar, you're getting all kinds of processed foods, you're getting meat that probably isn't all that great, certainly not grass-fed. And these are all things that basically are made so that you're going to eat more.
That is a very important point. What people don't realize is these foods that you consume most of your diet are made for you to overconsume. They're made for people to make money, for someone to make money somewhere. And so they literally are manufactured in a way to be addicting because they want to make money off you. They don't want you to be full. They don't want you to be healthy. They want you to be addicted and overeating so that they could make that money off of you. So think about that.
And also, all this processed food is going to mess up your gut microbiome, which in turn makes it harder to lose weight or to keep weight off. Whereas a Greek salad is full of vegetables, it's got lots of healthy fat in it, it has feta cheese, so it has protein. It's really a complete meal. And guess what? I would often have a piece of sourdough bread with it. I wouldn't have a whole loaf of bread, but I'd have a piece of bread. And that is okay. And so a Greek salad really has everything you need in it. It's super delicious and it fills you up, which is something that a Big Mac wouldn't do.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I've never heard of Greek salad before, but I'm going to look into it because that looks good.
And it really doesn't have as many calories as a Big Mac. If you eat it like in the recipe that we have, you're not going to find that it has the same amount of calories. But it's really good for you, it fills you up, and it's delicious. Okay, so the second recipe is pasta puttanesca. And this is an amazingly delicious pasta dish that has tuna and olives and capers, different vegetables, and olive oil, of course. And this recipe, it has pasta in it. And this is another one that, people say that you can't have pasta if you're going to lose weight.
People tend to overeat in a lot of different simple carb areas, and white pasta is one of them. White rice is another. And so one thing I found is, whole grain pasta doesn't taste that much different. It's not like white rice and whole grain rice. Whole grain rice is nasty compared to white rice, but whole grain pasta, not that big of a difference. And so with this recipe, I would look into the whole grain to get those more nutrients and less processed out of it and make sure I don't overeat.
So I'm going to say that if you don't have pasta, you're probably not enjoying yourself all that much. You're not enjoying your food, and you're probably not going to last very long on a diet. Pasta puttanesca is a meal in itself, and the thing that you do in order to modify a dish like pasta puttanesca is add more vegetables to it, or have a little bit less pasta, less pasta, more vegetables. And this is going to make you full, and it's going to make you glad to be alive, glad to eat something that's delicious. You're not going to feel like you're keeping food away from yourself, denying yourself food, and you're going to enjoy it.
So I made a good point in terms of sustainability. You want to find something that is mostly healthy, but that you can keep eating. And so if that consists of a simple carb, that is okay. Just don't make sure you're not overeating that simple carb. I said whole grain pasta. If you can eat that and be completely good with that, that's good. There's even like noodle-fied vegetables like zucchini. You could get that in noodles now. If you were to place those white or simple carbs with the zucchini noodles, I mean, that's even better for you. And so what I'm saying is to really optimize the meal. That's what to do. But if you eat it exactly how it is, that's still a healthy meal. You got to look at health and with food in terms of a spectrum. You got your completely processed foods and your zero processed foods. And so wherever you fall in the spectrum, the closer you are to zero processing, the healthier you're going to be. But if you're in that lower end, you're still pretty good, where this meal would fall into that lower end. But to bring it to 100%, you would replace that simple carb.
It means you're going to stay on this way of eating so that you will continue to lose weight. So the third recipe, something I would have for breakfast, and breakfast is another thing that, yes, if you have a high protein breakfast, you're more likely to last until lunchtime. And it is important to have some protein for breakfast, but I'm not saying that you should have like a pound of bacon for breakfast or just bacon and eggs. You can certainly have eggs, like a spinach omelet is really delicious and very filling and is going to help you lose weight. And avocado toast, people freak out. Some people love that there's fat in the avocado, and some people freak out about it. The truth is that the fat, a healthy fat like avocado or olive oil, is going to help fill you up. And so it's a really good fat to have, and you're going to have a piece of bread with it. Whether you have a sourdough, a whole grain sourdough, or if you can't eat gluten, you have a gluten-free piece of bread. That's carbohydrates. And again, having some carbohydrates is good for you, especially if it's from whole grains or beans or vegetables or fruit. And so I would often put smoked salmon on top, or I would put an egg on the avocado toast. And this made for a very delicious, very filling breakfast that was going to keep me full until lunchtime.
So he says a variety of different breads that you could use, and all the ones he said are pretty good. I mean, you got your whole grain, and you got your sourdough and gluten-free. I mean, basically steer away from the white stuff and be conscious of them. In terms of noodles, be conscious that those white noodles, they're not the best for you. Be conscious that that white bread is not the best for you. That whole grain bread is better for you. There's a little processing in the whole grain, but it's 100% better than that white grain. So just know that health is progression. It's not a complete flip to the other side. It's a process.
And so it'd be less likely that I would need to eat a lot of food between my breakfast and my lunch. Now, the next recipe is one that a lot of people take issue with, especially when I say that I would eat it as its own meal, because there's no protein in it. And people freak out if you don't have protein, like a lot of protein or even some protein in a meal, but you don't have to. And people in the Mediterranean, many times, I mean, they eat protein throughout the day, but sometimes they just eat what they have.
So protein can depend on your goals. For me, I like to have muscle. I like to perform well. So protein becomes a very important part of my diet. I like to think of protein various times in the day. But in terms of weight loss, I would say this guy isn't trying to be the biggest he can muscularly. This guy isn't trying to bench 315 pounds in the gym. So is protein, a high protein diet, necessary for him? No. Can he have a meal without protein? Yeah. And you got to realize that protein comes in different ways too. Not only meat and eggs have protein, but you get protein from beans and even other vegetables and stuff. So depending on your goals, me personally, I like to have protein every meal. Not necessarily depending on your goal, but definitely make sure you're getting protein throughout the day. That's the biggest picture, is how much protein you're getting throughout the day.
What they've grown, and a lot of times that means they would not eat protein. So this particular dish is horta with potatoes. And horta is greens with potatoes, and so it could be spinach, it could be mustard greens, Swiss chard, kale. Really any kind of green is gonna work well with this. And with this recipe, you take a little bit of onion or garlic and you saute it in a cup of extra virgin olive oil. Now, if I was to modify this for weight loss, I wouldn't take it down that much, but maybe 3/4 a cup. You could do a half a cup, and then you boil the potatoes in the olive oil and some water, and then you add the greens. And this makes just an absolutely delicious meal.
The one on the left looks decent. The two on the right don't look too appetizing to me, but maybe it's just me.
Again, I might have a slice of sourdough bread with it. But for me, when I was trying to lose weight, or when I was losing weight, I was eating this like at least once per week. And it would fill me up because it has all this healthy fat in it. And it's delicious. And so the other thing is, if you really do want some protein or need some protein, sometimes I would take the leftovers, for example, and the next morning for breakfast, I would cook the greens and the potatoes, the horta, with an egg, and then have it with sourdough bread. And this made a delicious, filling breakfast. So the last recipe that I ate quite often when I was losing weight was a white bean soup. And this is a traditional soup that I learned when I was in Crete, and we have a version of it that is from Koulivaradakis from our...
I love soups, chilies, curry, pretty much all different types of stews, because they're forgiving. You could put a lot of what you just happen to have in there, and as long as your seasonings are good, it's going to be pretty good. So I love these in terms of meals, and healthy meals too, because you could throw a lot of vegetables in there. And even if, like, for example, I don't like broccoli, even after I throw a little broccoli in there, it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to taste it a lot. It's a big combination of a bunch of different things, and you get a lot of different nutrients in there. So I love it.
Our cookbook, Foods of Crete, traditional recipes from the healthiest people in the world. And people, again, somehow have turned beans into something that's bad. Although if you go to all the healthiest places in the world, they eat beans, and they eat a lot of beans.
I haven't heard that. Are people saying beans are bad? Is that a thing? I haven't heard that.
Less meat, less animal protein, and more beans. So beans are high in fiber, they're low in calories, but with this particular dish, we're taking white beans and we're adding orange slices to give it a citrusy flavor. And again, we're adding a cup of extra virgin olive oil. And the thing about this dish is that it is super filling. When you cook it, the juices cook down, it gets really creamy. It also has carrots and onions in it, and it is really, really delicious. I've served this to literally thousands of people over the years, and people just love it.
This is really good.
But again, people freak out because there's so much fat in it. You could, again, modify it, use a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, but don't use like a teaspoon or a tablespoon.
In terms of fat, don't look at it as fats and carbs, especially when you're eating healthy. Think of it as in terms of calories. So oils tend to have a lot of calories and nuts tend to have a lot of calories. And so in terms of eating healthy, be a little bit cautious of those just because if you're trying to lose weight. But for the most part, you love fats and healthy carbs. And so think of those. And if you really worry about being too much, just count the calories, see how much it turns out to be. Put a little less oil, or don't consume nuts, which I don't think any of his recipes had nuts, but those tend to be high in calories too.
You want to use a good amount. And of course, if you have some reason why you can't eat a lot of fat, then you could use less. But again, this is filling. And so with these 5 recipes, what is different from a lot of other so-called diet foods is that I still eat these and I still love all these dishes because they are filling, they're incredibly tasty, and they're good for you. So it's why I've been able to keep the weight off, because I continue to eat the same way. So I didn't restrict things. I didn't eat processed foods, but I ate all of the good, healthy food, and I was able to lose the weight and to keep it off.
But you ate pasta. No, I'm just kidding. Great video. Great lesson learned is you find meals that you like and that you're going to continue to eat throughout your life. Like we said, it's a lifestyle you want to create. And so I think I'm going to even look into these recipes. They look decent. So good advice. He knows what he's talking about. Obviously he's experienced it. That's another thing, is a lot of people, they'll give health and nutrition advice, but they themselves haven't put themselves through it. They haven't experienced it. They haven't lost weight themselves through it, and they're telling people what to do, and it's just hard a lot of times. But he lost weight himself, and very good meals. Find meals that you love, find meals that work, eat mostly healthy. These are examples of great healthy meals. So definitely follow those tips. Okay. A common theme is how to lose weight without exercising, but this video is how to lose weight without dieting. So a little different take on it. Let's see what she says.
Let's be honest, no one likes dieting, no one likes being on a diet. And the truth is, there are actually many ways that you can lose weight without being on an official diet. So you can still include all the foods you love and still lose weight. Now in today's video, I'm going to give you 8 tips that will help you lose weight without dieting and without feeling deprived, because I think that's what it comes down to.
I don't like it already. Whenever someone says eat whatever you want and lose weight, I tend to dislike that, because you're hyper focusing on something, and whenever you hyper focus on something in health, you're missing out on the benefits of all the other areas. And so exercise and nutrition both offer extreme benefits to weight loss. So if you exclude one of those, if you take away the nutrition and you just do the exercise, you're just walking on one leg. You're like doing a race with one leg. You want to be able to tackle from as many angles as you can to make it the easiest and most successful for you.
Tip number 1 is to stop obsessing so much over food. Now, I know that this is hard if you've got food noise in your brain, but try your best to eat mindfully when you do eat. Eat up until the point that you are just satiated or just full. Stop at that point. And also ditch the good versus bad mindset, which is where we run into problems, because then we get so restrictive that we crave the things that we are cutting out.
So she said something kind of controversial here. Is at the beginning of the video she said, eat whatever you want and we're going to lose weight. And now she says, eat until you're full and then stop. The problem we run into is if you're eating whatever you want, you're eating a lot of processed foods. If you're eating a lot of processed foods, your body doesn't know when it's full, because these are man-made foods and not the foods your body has evolved to know when you're full. And so that's why we tend to gain weight a lot of times, especially nowadays, why the obesity rate is so high, is because we're eating these foods that are made to be addicting and are made for us to just nonstop eat. And so, of course, we're not gonna know when we're full when we're eating these foods. And so that's a big problem. So if you want to know when you're full and you're eating foods, eat healthy, non-processed foods. That's it.
So if you want to lose weight without dieting, you need to try and create a balanced mindset around food. So no food obsessions. Try and quiet down the food noise if you can. I know it's easier said than done. Think 80-20, so have 80% healthier foods, 20% a little bit of your favorite foods.
That is an excellent tip, she said. So she's kind of going back on what she said. She said, eat whatever you want. And now she's saying, eat 80% healthy. I love this tip because this basically says you plan most of your meals and maybe 1, 2, or 3 meals throughout the week. You have a little maybe not as healthy. Obviously, have health always on your mindset. But maybe I'll have a cookie. Or maybe I'll have a little cake once a week. 80-20. Good mindset to have. It's a sustainable mindset. No one can sustain 100%. I mean, at least not right off the bat.
And stop the minute you are full. Tip number 2, and this one might seem obvious, but it bears speaking about. Try to move more, but without becoming a gym rat. So you don't have to spend hours in the gym, as you guys have heard on my channel.
I love the gym, though. Good advice if you don't want to be in the gym, if you don't want to build muscle, but optimal health, you want to be in the gym. You want to be lifting weights, and then you want to be doing cardio optimally. I don't care if you're a man or woman. I don't care if you don't want to get bulky. You're not going to get bulky. You want to be doing that. So find something that you like and works for you. Get moving more. Absolutely. She is right. But I highly recommend getting in the gym. It's awesome.
Before, I've spoken about NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and moving more really just means increasing that. So even me talking now using my hands, that is NEAT. So I am burning maybe 1 calorie.
NEAT can be cool, but it's only like, I don't know, 5 to 10% of what you actually burn in the day, and then your body also adapts to it. So if she makes a video a day, her body's going to adapt to that. She's not burning anything extra. Exercise is really nice, though, because there's a thing called progressive overload, which means it's harder for your body just to adapt to that and your metabolism to adapt. So that's why I highly recommend exercise. Don't think of NEAT. Obviously, get around, move more. Don't be sitting around. Don't be a couch potato. But I recommend going to the gym because then you could really track and you could say, oh, I hit the 10 pounds a day. Let's try the 15 pounds. Let's progress. Let's build muscle. Let's burn calories. Or let's say I ran a mile in 10 minutes a day. Let's try to run that mile in 9:50 today. You want to be progressing so your body doesn't adapt to it, so you burn more energy.
Now and then, as I talk to you guys, moving, expressing, using my hands. And you can move more in small ways. You can dance while you cook your supper. You can move around your house a little bit extra while you're doing your housework. You can walk. You can, there's many ways that you can incorporate a little bit of extra movement into your day without slogging away at the gym. And this will help you burn a few extra calories. And I know you've heard it before, but it does add up. Tip number 3, and I've spoken about this before, is to sleep your way to success, weight loss success, that is. And this one, I know you hear it over and over again. You've heard it from me before, but sleep really is crucial for weight loss success. And again, we are not talking about one bad night's sleep.
Wow, this is the second video I watched today that is mentioning sleep for weight loss. Awesome. I love it. Sleep is great. Definitely don't be undersleeping. Get freaking 8 hours of sleep. I'm just leaving it at 8. Just get that 8. Aim for your 8. If you can sleep 9 hours, and that's awesome. But get that 8 hours in. You're gonna, whether you're building muscle or losing fat, it's gonna help you. Do it.
That's not going to derail you, but it's chronic sleep deprivation that can mess with your hormones. It can raise your stress hormones the next day. I know for me, immediately I crave all the wrong things, all the sugary, calorie-laden, salty, sweet, carby things the next day if I haven't slept well. And of course, it makes you moody and grumpy and your emotions are not good. So
I like how she mentions the downhill turn. In my 4-pillar exercise optimal health model, not exercise, optimal health model, I have exercise, hydration, nutrition, sleep. If one of the pillars is taken down, the other 3 will be hard to maintain throughout that day. So if you sleep crappy, it's going to be hard to exercise because you don't have the energy. It's going to be hard to eat good because you're not going to want to prepare that meal for you. And you're going to be on a couch all day and you're not going to want to get up and drink your water. And so it's really hard. One of those pillars knocked down tends to knock down the others. Just like anything in life. Like if you don't plan a cheat meal and you eat a cookie, the cookies always bring their friends. So you'll always eat more. And so instead of that, have the pillars of success. So if you sleep well, you're going to often exercise well and you're going to often eat well. So it's vice versa.
if you can, do your best to get a solid night's sleep most nights of the week. I mean, like I said, one night won't make a huge difference, but sleep really is important for weight loss, and you don't have to be on a diet for it. Tip number 4, and again, I've spoken about this in other videos, you will hear the same things over and over from me because the same things work. What works, works. But tip number 4 is to hack your hunger, meaning if you eat the wrong foods, like sugary foods and highly palatable foods, what you will find is that your blood sugar spikes, then it crashes, and you actually start to crave more of that junk food or more sugar, another sugar fix. I experienced this myself. You can hack your hunger by building your meals around protein, and I've hammered the protein thing home to you guys, but protein is so important. It really does balance your blood sugar. It keeps you feeling fuller for longer. You combine that with something fibrous, and you're going to hit the jackpot when it comes to your...
Good advice. Protein is satiating, and your body burns more by digesting protein. So protein is very well. It helps you maintain your muscle mass. Obviously, none of us want our muscle mass to deplete. We want the fat to deplete. And so having protein helps us maintain our muscle mass. And then, fibrous foods, she's talking about those other whole foods, carbohydrates. So vegetables, berries, fruits, whole grains. That's a great way to build a diet.
Your diet and your hunger, you will just find that your mood, your energy, everything stabilizes throughout the day. I mean, Brian Johnson goes on and on about this too. So protein and then fiber. You look at your plate and see, do I have enough protein and do I have...
Here, I want to judge that. I want to judge that plate.
And then...
All right, we got, it looks like a good medium rare meat. Is that corn, asparagus, potato? So she has 3 forms of a vegetable and a meat. I would assume there was some form of fat cooking these. I would hope there would have been some olive oil, maybe something to sear the steak. So it's a decent meal. I would hope she's consuming some fruits. That would be lovely. But pretty good.
Then fiber. You look at your plate and see, do I have enough protein and do I have non-starchy fibrous vegetables? And then you add in your carbs as well. And then your fat is just for mouthfeel, for satiety, and for your hormones. But your fats per meal is like about the size of your thumb. Now I'm speaking for ladies. For men, you'd obviously have a bit more. your protein at every meal, something roughly the size and shape of your palm. You want to hit about.
So you now you're seeing her training. So she obviously has some training. This is kind of what they taught me in my National Academy of Sports Medicine nutrition coach deal. Me personally, I don't really like to use that. It can be helpful if you're really trying to watch your meals, but I would say measuring it out, eating to satiation with whole foods is more effective. But these are tricks that you can use. Yeah, she has some training.
100 to 150 grams of protein a day, depending on your size, your height, and your weight. And
I would just aim for protein in terms of your body weight in pounds. Whatever your pounds are in body weight or your goal body weight, aim for that in protein. That's what I would say. It's easy.
And add fiber with every meal, and your hunger will stabilize. You won't feel that ravenous hunger that you do when you're eating all the wrong foods. Tip number 5, and this one I really enjoy, stress less and laugh more. Now, this is a fun way to lose weight without dieting because, of course, did you know, you do know by now, that stress, chronic elevated stress, can make you pile on the weight. That is, if your cortisol is elevated for too long.
True. I would say stress, first of all, make sure you're optimizing your health. That could help with stress a lot. And secondarily, I would say find a good purpose in life. I would say you're stressing because you're not seeing a big picture. That's why the gym and dieting can be so useful for your mental health, because it's giving you a bigger purpose, something to aim for and shoot for. And so stress can affect your health. But oftentimes I would say that's not the case, but can be.
Now, for most of us, a little bit of stress is good. So I'm not talking about the normal daily stress, but if you are stressed day in and day out, it does obviously trigger higher cortisol levels than normal, and you will start piling on extra weight around your belly. This may or may not be you, I don't know. But do your best to bring your stress levels down. Meditate, laugh, watch a sitcom, do something fun, speak to a friend.
I want to know where she lives. Look at all that green. Looks fun.
Get outside and just try and bring some positivity into your day. And I know, again, easier said than done for some of you. Some of you are in stressful situations, and for some of you, comfort eating may be a real thing. And I know when I'm going through times of crisis or stress, I want to comfort eat. But what I don't think about, and I'm trying to give you this advice now, is you need to step back from that situation in your mind and then try and do something that brings a feeling of joy, of laughter, of positivity.
Exactly what I was saying. Find a purpose, find fun. A huge thing is look at your social life. Are you alone a lot of times? I mean, that is a big indicator of just bad mental health and bad stress levels. Is just, what's your social life look like? Is your only friends at work? Then you might gotta go find a hobby, go make some friends somewhere else, get outside, go somewhere. These are good tips in terms of stress.
So that you can bring your stress levels down. Your waistline will thank you. Tip number 6, and this one is a biggie for me because I work in my house right near the fridge and freezer, so I'm right near the food. But tip number 6 is to stay busy so that you don't even have time to mindlessly eat or snack. I find when I'm editing videos especially, I want to sit with a snack nearby or something to drink or something to munch on. And that's because I do find editing difficult to do and maybe a bit boring. So try and keep busy throughout the day. Structure your day so that you have set times for your meals. You know what you're going to eat roughly in those set times, and then you do not eat at the other times of the day.
Very good advice. This is a tip that works for me. Stay busy, have a plan in terms of diet and a plan in terms of what to do. If you're sitting around with not much to do, you're going to want to eat. It's just a plain fact. It's funny because you would think it would be the opposite. You think, oh, I'm not moving, I won't be hungry. No, you're going to be hungry. So find a purpose, find a project, and you'll see that time fly, and before you know it, it's time to eat again. So stay busy.
And that will help you lose weight without even going on a specific diet. Tip number 7, and this is one I've banged on and on about in every video, is portion control. Portion control will allow you to still have your favorite foods and lose weight. I've used it successfully myself so often. I still eat pizza, I still eat cake. However, I try on most occasions to have my portions in the right sizes for me and for my activity level.
Portion control, I would say, is only effective with processed foods. If you eat whole foods, your body will tell you when you're full. It's hard to overeat with whole foods. I'm just going to leave it at that.
So obviously, you don't want to eat pizza and cake every single day, but you can include those foods in your what I'm calling diet, as in what you eat every day. You're not going on a diet, but you can include those foods. Obviously, try and add in fiber and protein and healthy foods. But when you include these treat foods or junk foods, have them in the right size, just enough to satisfy you, and then get on with the rest of your life. Now, tip number 8 is to limit or reduce or cut out alcohol. Now, alcohol in and of itself will not make you gain weight, but alcohol leads one drink to another, and then you want to binge eat the next day because it crashes your electrolytes. You don't sleep so well. It doesn't do any of your hormones any good. And then
alcohol is really bad in terms of your health in general. I mean, yeah, you're gonna gain weight. You're not gonna be eating healthy. You're not gonna be performing well. Just avoid the alcohol as much as possible.
You'll find that you have very little self-control around all the foods that you know you should be wary of, and that you should only have small portions of. And so what I find is that because alcohol makes you lose your inhibitions, it will make you want to overeat, and then you won't really care about overeating, and then that can set you back. Now, of course, if you are binge drinking and drinking a lot, then you do need to be aware that the calories in the alcohol are quite high. It's 7 calories per gram of alcohol. Fat is 9 calories, carbs and protein is 4. So it is quite high in calories. Yes, alcohol does have a fairly high thermic effect, but don't let that fool you. Alcohol is not going to help you on your weight loss journey. And there you have it, my 8 tips to losing weight without going on a diet.
All right. I mean, she has some good tips in there. I would say in terms of weight loss, follow that 80-20 rule. That is a good thing she said. Stay busy. That's an amazing thing she said. Have a plan. Plan your cheats. That's a useful tip, and she kind of maybe hinted at that. And so, that's it.